Hey guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House. Checking out this, whatever mess this is. Not sure what's going on here. Glass didn't break, as far as I can tell, but it must have got hot enough to turn whatever this is into whatever that is. Look at that crap. What I'm going to do though, since the wick is pretty much El Pucho'd in there, I'm going to take all this crappy little paper and I'm going to shove it down in this thing and light it up. But we'll light that up in a second, because the real reason I came out here is we have all this leftover crap from the Crisco experiment, and since, let's see, yeah, since this is kind of a joke now, this container, I might as well use the rest of this, shove it in here, fill this thing up, and do one more experiment on this thing, I guess. That is the goal. Why not? I'm gonna have to buy a new Crisco big ass jug like this again and try it from scratch, basically, like where they have I'm gonna jam a wick down the center of a giant one like this and see how long it'll go, and not be doing this with the mason jar situation that I'm doing now. But eventually, when I go to the grocery store, if I see a sale on or something, I will do that. I don't know if the Dollar Tree sells, I don't know if they sell vegetable shortening. I don't think they do. Well, here's a piece of candle. That's why this is so wackoed out. That sucks. Oh well. I'll have enough to jam in here and have a nice little fire going again though. Why not? Like I said, I had this Crisco container for quite a long time because I wanted to do this experiment. And so far the only things worked is the lantern. Lantern wick, so we're gonna try that again. So in we go with this guy. I guess I'll just use my finger. Seems obvious enough. Now the problem with this is I have a candle going this direction, so it's gonna be quite a bitch. There. Fortunately for this one's going to be quite the mess because the wick's kind of sticking up way over here. Look at my hand, charcoal city, or soot city I should say. And then we'll light it and see what happens. But yeah. Whew. Probably not going to light very well. It is cotton though. Normally you like to let these wicks soak in the liquid for a while. See how it's smoldering. Once the heat gets down here, it'll melt this stuff. The cotton will absorb that as the fuel, and then this thing will go for hours. So, is what it is. It'll just be embering away here for a bit. Let me zoom in for you guys. This is doing it basically raw style. I'm not sure what this is. This stuff here. I'll throw it in there though. Why not? Not entirely sure what the hell that is. There's like some kind of discolored wax or something melted for sure. Strange. There it is. Sorry about that shot, guys. I'm just putting this crap that I discovered on the bottom of the glass jar. I don't know what it is, but it's gonna go in there. Whoops. Since my hands are filthy anyways. Whew. Ugh. So this thing's just going down slow, and it'll probably reach its way down and start warming up this gooey stuff, and that will in turn start liquefying and getting stuff on the go here. So there's like a mismatch of all kinds of crap in here. Like there's a leftover candlestick, there's some of that twine from one of the other wicks that we tried earlier, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so I guess I can just leave this going, and if it goes out, I'll come and check on it later. But we got enough of a breeze around here. I think we're gonna be just fine, hunky-dory. Adjust the camera for you guys a little bit. It's slowly just making its way down. There's mushrooms that you can light in particular, that once you get it started like this, they'll smolder like this for hours and hours and hours, as long as you don't get them wet, and that's good for fire, transferring fire. So we'll see, but this is no mushroom, not at all. And then once this guy burns down, I will throw the rest of that Crisco in here, do another little experiment. But the one thing I got to mention, guys, these things do not burn for as long as they say. The reason I want to buy a brand new from the store Crisco container is I want to do, like I just explained that a little bit earlier, I want to take one of these wicks, jam it down the center, put it in here, light it up, and see how long it actually goes for. And that will be the true test, because the mason jar deal didn't seem to be, it went for 24 hours until it burned out, and that was about it. Well, that's not that decent, because they're claiming these things will go for 48 hours, 72 hours, or even days, and I'm pretty much debunking that as we go. So like I say, next time at the grocery store, if I see some shortening, I'm going to grab some. And what I can also do is I'll grab the no-name brand Crisco vegetable shortening, try that, compared to the brand name, and see if there's any difference. And then you don't have to buy the brand name stuff, you can save a little money if you're using it for this type of activity. So we'll see exactly how far this thing goes. Now with the nice breeze, like I said, it's gonna kind of fuel the flame here as it smolders down, and hopefully this thing will start up and run all night. I shouldn't have to mess with it too much at all now, so that's good. So cool. I'm not gonna wait all day, especially on camera. I'm just gonna go in and see how we do and go from there. So I'm gonna close this guy up, safety precautions, and we'll see what happens. Hey guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House. Been a while. That's the mess we currently have left over from our Crisco experiment. So it ate through about half of that jar. I made a new wick that kind of stands up on its own type of deal. Whether or not I can jam it down inside of there is another question. What I think I'll do is I'm going to use this piece of copper that's all smashed up and just jam a nice little hole down in here, like so. And then hopefully push this wick down in there. Okay, so the wick's kind of got a skeleton now. Whoops. All kinds of crap in there. It's got a skeleton with this wire. So we need to add more Crisco to this thing in order to try this out yet again. Now, went to the store, guys, could not find these tubs of Crisco. Whether that's due to the shortages or whatever, not too worried. My mom was on the lookout for them as well. They're pretty hard to come by, but I've seen them at some of the stores, except they want about $10 for one of those deals, which is completely insane to me for vegetable shortening. So yeah, we'll be waiting on some funding before I funding and free time before I even attempt such a thing. That is for sure. So we'll use up what we have. That's normally how everything goes here at the Off-Grid Tiny House. What a messy job. Beautiful Thanksgiving. And in Canada we celebrate our Thanksgiving in October, as opposed to the Americans that have their own ideas. But is what it is. Cool. So, oh, the mason jar did bust open. Okay. And leak out. You can see this, guys. So the same thing's probably going to happen. The jar couldn't take the heat. And yeah, fun. So we're going to light this up, try it out. Even though it's going to probably leak. Whoops. And break. So what I'll do, we'll solve this right now. We're going to put this jar in here. Whoops. If I can hold it together. They're getting all cut up. So any liquid that comes out will go into the can, go from there. What a mess. Use the grass here for a second. I'm going to attempt to heat this spoon up and melt this into a liquid and get things moving here. So far so good. If I can melt this stuff off the spoon, it'll go onto the wick and slow that thing up. Like so. So the wick will absorb that liquid and do its thing. She's burning dirty right now, guys. There she goes. Oh, it actually hooked right onto that little wire. Get this glass out of here. Alright, so we'll try this out. That's quite the flame on that thing. It'll settle down once it gets the liquid going here. It's gonna keep that wire nice and hot though, and that wire runs all the way down the wick as a skeleton. So, yeah. It's quite the flame. One thing for sure is that stuff burns super hot. At least this way it shouldn't go limp, the wick, and it'll somewhat keep vertical. That way it doesn't flop over and end the burn. So we'll leave this running, see how long it goes. If it leaks out of the mason jar, it's going to leak into the Crisco container, and we'll see exactly what happens with that. It'll be interesting for sure. Well, we got a mourning dove up here trying to get warm next to the Crisco, and it looks like the jar completely exploded, and we have a nice Crisco fire going on in the chimney. So very interesting. This will be the end of the Crisco projects, I'm sure. Out with a bang. glass destroyed, and Crisco container destroyed, and everything. So there you go, guys. Crisco kind of works. Not the best. I wouldn't use it as an emergency candle whatsoever. Doesn't seem to work whatsoever, in my opinion. I'll save up, buy a giant container like this again, do it from scratch for you guys for one final Crisco video after this glorified campfire, and that's about it. Alrighty guys, it's been quite a while. It is still burning like crazy in the Crisco bucket and slowly consuming the Crisco bucket. Let me open this grill and then you guys can see it's throwing quite a bit of heat, which is nice. So I'm going to let this go as long as possible. This is a good sign though, because this kind of tells me I really have to buy a brand new Crisco container from scratch and redo this experiment without the mason jar, just using the Crisco bucket itself with a brand new, container full of it. Make my skeleton wick and go from there. I can see the skeleton wick is the wick is totally gone though. It must have fell right inside of there from the flames, but whatever, is what it is. Still not the most reliable setup, but it definitely cooks. And it burns pretty nasty, actually. Smoky, because it's not got a chimney effect going on, but that wasn't the purpose. So, wow. We'll see how long that goes for. Alright guys, next morning here. Looks like the Crisco candle thing is El Frido. The container held up pretty decent, but it looks like it cooked up everything in there. It ran for quite a few hours, so there you go. Like I said, later on guys, if I get the moolah off of these videos, I will buy a brand new one, start from scratch with the lantern wick, and see how long that puppy actually goes for. So hang in there and stay tuned for that. If you'd like to support my video in that way, you can always become a Patreon member. That'll help me get there a lot faster. Or just keep thumbing up the videos, sharing them, liking them. That'll do too. Thank you.